So welcome to my review of the Engwe P275 Pro. I'm reviewing it in the kitchen because it's absolutely tipping down outside. This is a fairly unusual bike and it's got some special features that I've not seen or I've tried before on an e-bike. It was very well packaged and it came with a few essential tools and it was relatively easy to put together. I found this hidden in the box. I didn't know what it was. It's actually a light and it fits in there. I think you press on there. Okay, it's just a little battery light. The main thing about this bike is it has a mid-drive Beifang motor here. It's 250 watts with a claimed range of 260 kilometers and 65 newton meters of torque. It's aimed squarely at the commuter bike market. Has a very sensible pannier on the back and a fairly conventional shaped frame. The battery is built into the frame here. The price is at the moment is £1,899 on Engwe's website. The brakes are Tektro hydraulic, 180mm front and rear. And I did find when I got the bike was that the brake levers were swapped over. I had to swap them back to get used to the UK side, so that one was on the other side. It was fairly easy to swap them over, just removing the grips, which are actually screwed on, which is quite nice, and I swapped them over. That was quite easy to do. It's got puncture resistant tyres. They're reasonable profile, they're not particularly narrow, fairly chunky, which does give you a bit of shock absorption, because as you notice you've got no shock absorbers on this bike, it is a solid frame. The tyres have also got a white wall here, and they are 28-inch tyres. The battery is a 36 volt 19.2 amp hour Samsung lithium ion battery. Max speed is 25 kilometers, after which the pedal assistance stops, but obviously if you carry on pedaling you can go faster. The gross weight is 32 kilos. It's suitable for riders from 5'9" to 6'6", or in new money 175 centimeters to 200 centimeters. It's 188 centimeters long and 98.5 tall at the handlebars. The handlebars aren't adjustable, they are fixed. It has a Cellar Royal saddle and an air lifting post, which you can operate by pulling this lever and raising it up a couple of inches. Nice alloy pedals here with rubber on their reflectors on there. Got a kickstand, comes with a kickstand. You've got the speed sensor there, and you've got quite a nice frame on the back, quite a solid filling frame. It's supposed to take up to 25 kilos, so plenty for your shopping. The mudguards feel quite solid there. Alloy, front and rear. And it looks like there's fixings for a basket on the front there as well. It's got built-in headlights, and if I hold the top button on the controls, the headlights switch on. Now they're built in, the headlights at the front are built in, but to be honest the rear light is a little battery operated thing, and honestly I thought it was a bit of an afterthought. And the trouble with this is every time you try and put it back you end up putting it on, and I can't put it back one-handed, so I will put that back in a minute. But I noticed there is space on the back of this for a proper light, so I would go for a decent light that's operated from the electrics if possible. Yes, because the problem with that light is it's very easy to switch it on when you pick the bike up by its saddle, and it's easy to leave it on, so unless you need it I think I'd probably take it off. Just switch the headlight off for now. The grips I found a little bit uncomfortable, I'll be honest, they're quite studded, so you're best if you can wear gloves on the grips. It comes with a little bell, which is literally a bell. See if I can get it to stay there, that's it. And it has an EU CE certificate of conformity. So as I understand it, it is road legal. There's no throttle with it, it's probably best to add as well. Just the grips and what you see on the handlebars here. Let's have a little look at the controls. Over here on the left hand side of the two controls, there's only 3 buttons here. That one is the headlight. Hold it to switch on or off, and hold the middle button to power the bike on or off. Switch the light off. That's it. So they're very simple controls, different modes. There's no gears, so you can't actually change gear. The bike does all the gear changing for you. But if you use these buttons here, you can change the different modes. So we've got Touring, Sport, Sport Plus, and Boost. And then to get back, you use a down button to get back. I tended to leave it in Touring, and when I'm going uphill, I go up to Boost. So how did I get on with the bike when I was riding it? Let's have a look. Right, first time out on this bike. Thought I'd just get out into the country and hear myself think without the traffic. It's certainly different. It's different from most of the sort of mountain bike type bikes I'm used to. Handlebars are quite low down, which makes it, well, I think I'm going to find it a little bit difficult to start with because I'm not used to in that sort of crouched riding position. So it is quite unusual, and the automatic gears are weird. That takes some getting used to. I mean, there's several modes here. Let me just show you this. Anyway, it's in T for Touring, which is like the one above Eco. So I'm doing 24.5 quite easily. Let's slow down for this car. Yeah, and then it changes down for you. It's bizarre. Now it's changed up. But it changed down to second. It's really weird. So you don't have to worry about changing gears. It's three-speed automatic. And yeah, going along quite a lick at the moment. 27 kilometres. Not really trying. My legs are going any faster. 35. Cycling along the moss towards Ormskirk Road. I have to say these grips are not particularly comfortable. Dig into your hands. I'm going to change those or wear gloves. Quite grippy. Quite comfortable. The seat's not incredibly comfortable. The bike itself, because it's got fairly big tyres, reasonably comfortable. I think it's quite easy to cover quite a distance quite easily. Right. It's the second time I've taken this out. First time I took it out, it kept cutting out on power, and the display would go off and I'd lose all power, which made it quite difficult to ride. I've since found that I hadn't plugged the battery in properly. Battery was bouncing about. I still find the seat a bit uncomfortable. It's quite hard. And these grips are a little bit uncomfortable if you're just wearing bare hands. If you've just got bare hands, if you haven't got gloves on. And I've got gloves on today. It's still quite cold. And as you can see, I'm out in the environment. You might typically use this bike. They call it a commuter bike. And really designed for the cut and thrust of urban cycling. Unfortunately, it's a Saturday and the roads are a little bit quieter. I'm not sure I can get used to this low riding position. It's much more like a sports bike, leaning quite a way forward, and you have to sort of, I'm having to look up through my glasses to see where I'm going. Eventually a signal. Thank you. It'll do some strange things, but it's quite easy to ride. I'm in touring mode at the moment, able to sort of keep up 23 kilometers an hour quite easily. I haven't figured out how to change it to miles per hour yet. Well, these bikes I'm fine. Well, last bike I had the brakes around the wrong way for the UK, so I'm hoping grip comes off quite easily. That's a good idea, isn't it, rather than fiddling about with a bit of rubber. There we go. Just want to show you how you take the battery out here. There's a little rubber cover that you peel back. You've got a key there and a charging port there. So put the key in, turn the key the other way, and the battery, he said, take the key out, and then the battery comes out like that. So this is the battery. Quite a solid little thing. The other thing to note is that when you put it back, you've got to make sure it's actually locked in place, and don't do what I did when I first had it, was ride around without it being locked. Turn the key and it actually locks in place, and you can't get the key out until it's locked. That's it. So I've got the bathroom scales out. Let's switch them on. I've got a load of keys in my pocket here. That's probably not going to help, is it? Right. So I'm currently 93 point. Stand still. What's that say?
93.5.
93.5. Now if I pick the bike up, tell me what it says. Yeah.
It says 116.
Okay. Oh, put that down. 93.5. 116 minus 90. 93.5.
Yeah.
22.5. Okay. So that's how much the bike actually weighs. I've got the battery out. And yeah, so it should go on the bike rack. 116 minus 90. 93.5.
Yeah.
22.5. Okay. So that's how much the bike actually weighs. I've got the battery out. And yeah, so it should go on the bike rack. So So the big question is, will the bike fit on the bike rack? And the answer is yes. Had to put it on the outer runner because the handlebars were touching the side on the inner runner. Put the longer arm out there, but yeah, it fits quite nicely, and it's within its capabilities. 23 kilos per rack per bike. It can take up to 30 kilos in total. Don't need an adapter because it is a 13-pin socket and plug that came with this bike rack, so that's good. Obviously I've taken the battery out and I will put a cover over it, so otherwise rain's going to get in there, isn't it? But yeah, happy with that. The bike does fit in the garage. Excellent news. I will obviously tie it down if I'm travelling. Got some tie downs. But yeah, just about enough headroom to get it in. It's a good job those handlebars are that low. So very pleased about that. There's the other thing that fits in the garage, a little bit lower from the roof, is the Engwe Engine X folder. And that fits quite nicely, but obviously again I would tie it down and I'd put it in its bag. It's got a bag that fits, so still a fair bit of room in there, but obviously I've got to get aqua roll and all sorts of things in there, so a bit of a juggling exercise. Obviously EcoFlow's in the way there, but yeah, so that's good. Benefit of a garage, eh? Right, to celebrate Engwe's 10th anniversary, during April they're having some very special celebrations. Full details will be in the description and links in the description below. Anyone who orders an e-bike over £650 will get this limited edition gift box. A very smart high-vis jacket, explore a new way. Keyring and some stickers. There we are. Discounts of up to £500 will be available. Early bird discounts of up to £100 off the new models P20 and the Engwe Pro 2. Be weekly prizes including e-bikes, so do check out the links below. Well, downsides to the bike first of all. Well, I found these fixed handlebars are quite low. I found it a little bit too low. If I was keeping the bike, I think I would probably get some high-rise handlebars to make the riding position a bit more comfortable. It may just be me. I'm happier with a higher riding position. Like I said earlier, the grips are a bit uncomfortable if you're not using any gloves. Also, I think I found the saddle a little bit hard. Maybe it's just me not used to a more firm saddle, but there's not a huge amount of cushioning. I've probably been spoilt with these big fat tyre bikes. Biggest drawback I found was when you come to a hill, there's no way of actually changing down gear. So what I found I was having to do is either slow right down to below about 10-15 kilometers, and then it would go in a lower gear. The easiest thing to do, of course, is actually to use the boost on the display to power up the hills and go at the same speed that you're going at before. So there are ways around it, but it would be nice if there was actually a way of changing down the gear. I'm quite happy with it changing up for me, but it's a little bit disconcerting when it won't change down. So the advantages of this bike: it's very easy to ride and it's very stable. I think the big wheels help. And one advantage of of only having the power boost and no gears, of course, is that when you do have to pedal uphill, it helps you get fit. So it's a great way of getting fit without, if you can get used to not always using the power. It should be low maintenance. There's not a huge number of moving parts, especially with the carbon fibre belt, which is great to see. There's no shock absorbers, of course. There are hydraulic brakes, so they shouldn't need adjusting. So I think it looks solid and it looks well made. I can't really see a lot of welds on this, and most of the frame looks pretty neat, I have to say. No sign of big chunky welds anywhere. And it comes with that built-in headlight, which is really handy, but I do wish they'd put a proper light on the back. That would have been good. When I was offered this bike, I really liked the sound of it. I like the idea of automatic gears and no chain. It's very innovative, and I think it would be ideal for someone who's decided it's time to ditch the car for that short commute to work, and that would be really good. If you're in hilly areas, I would strongly recommend getting a version with Shimano gears so you can change down. It's a very good looking bike, I think, and I particularly like the way that the battery is integrated into the frame, and that's very innovative. It's part of the design, really.